Here's something most gardeners get wrong before they even start. They walk into their yard, see that dim, shady corner under the big tree or along the north side of the house, and immediately write it off as a dead zone, a spot where nothing will ever really grow. So they either ignore it completely or keep throwing sun-loving plants at it that limp along, leggy and disappointing, until they eventually give up. That shady spot isn't a dead zone. It's actually one of the most underused opportunities in the average garden, because almost nobody plants it properly, which means the plants that do thrive there tend to stand out even more. Today I'm giving you 9 perennials, specifically chosen because they don't just tolerate shade, they genuinely prefer it, meaning you get to plant them once and enjoy them coming back fuller and healthier every single year, without fighting the conditions your yard actually has. I'll walk you through what makes each one thrive in low light, how to plant it properly, the one mistake that trips people up most, and what hardiness zone it needs. Before we get into it, if you're new here, hit subscribe, since I put out practical, no-nonsense gardening content like this every single week. And before we get to plant number 1, I want you to do something for me. Drop a comment telling me how shady your space actually is. Deep shade under a tree, dappled light through branches, or just a few hours of morning sun before the shadows roll in. Once you tell me, I'll reply and let you know which of these 9 perennials is the smartest fit for your specific spot. All right, let's get into it. Plant number 1, Hosta. If there's one plant that's practically synonymous with shade gardening, it's Hosta, and for good reason. Those broad, often variegated leaves in shades of blue-green, gold, and cream do something most shade plants can't. They make a dim corner feel intentional and lush rather than empty, purely through foliage alone, without needing much in the way of flowers to carry the visual weight. Hosta genuinely prefers partial to full shade. Direct afternoon sun will scorch its leaves, especially on the thinner-leafed varieties. Plant it in rich, moist soil, and once it's established, it asks for very little beyond an occasional deep watering during dry spells. The mistake most people make is planting Hosta somewhere it gets blasted with hot afternoon sun, thinking more light means more growth. It doesn't. It just means crispy, sunburned leaf edges by midsummer. Give it real shade, and it will reward you with a fuller clump every single year. Hosta is hardy in zones 3 through 9. Plant number 2, Astilbe. This is the plant I'd point to if someone told me shade gardens can't have real color. Astilbe produces feathery, plume-like flower spikes in shades of pink, red, purple, and white that rise dramatically above fern-like foliage, giving a shaded bed a soft, almost dreamy texture that reads as genuinely designed rather than an afterthought. Astilbe thrives specifically in moist, rich shade. This is a plant that does not tolerate drying out, so consistent moisture is the single most important factor in keeping it happy. Plant it in soil enriched with compost, and if your shaded spot tends to dry out between waterings, mulch heavily around the base to help retain moisture. The mistake to avoid here is letting the soil dry out even briefly during the growing season. Astilbe will brown and crisp at the edges fast if it goes thirsty, and once that happens for the season, it won't recover its full look until the following year. Astilbe is hardy in zones 4 through 8. Plant number 3, Coral Bells, also known as Heuchera. If Astilbe brings the color through blooms, Coral Bells brings it through foliage. And honestly, that foliage might be the more impressive feature. Its ruffled, textured leaves come in an enormous range of colors, from near black to deep burgundy to silver to lime green, meaning you can build genuine color contrast in a shaded bed using leaves alone, no flowers required. Coral Bells does best in part shade with morning sun and afternoon protection, and it prefers well-draining soil. Unlike Astilbe, this one doesn't want to sit in constantly damp ground. Plant it slightly proud of the soil line, with the crown just above ground level. Burying the crown too deep is actually the most common mistake people make with coral bells, and it leads to crown rot over time. Once established, it's remarkably low maintenance and will slowly form a fuller, denser mound each year. Coral bells is hardy in zones 4 through 9. Plant number 4, Bergenia. This one flies under the radar more than it should. Bergenia has large, glossy, almost leathery leaves that stay attractive through multiple seasons. Some varieties even take on a deep bronze-red tint in cooler weather. And in spring, it sends up clusters of pink or white bell-shaped flowers that add a soft pop of color right when the garden is waking up. Bergenia handles deep architectural shade better than most perennials on this list, making it a strong choice for that especially dim spot beside a building or fence where light barely reaches. Plant it in well-draining soil, and don't worry too much about babying it. This is a genuinely tough, forgiving plant. The mistake to avoid is over-fertilizing it expecting more blooms. Bergenia's real value is in the foliage, and excess fertilizer tends to produce lush leaves at the expense of the flowers you actually want to see. Bergenia is hardy in zones 3 through 8. Plant number 5, Hellebores, sometimes called the Lenten rose. Here's what makes Hellebores genuinely special and worth the spot on this list. They bloom in late winter or very early spring, often pushing flowers up through the last traces of snow, which means they give you color in your shade garden at a time when literally nothing else in the yard is doing anything at all. Hellebores prefer partial to full shade and well-drained soil, and they need regular watering during the active growing season to establish well. Once mature, they're remarkably drought-tolerant and low maintenance. The mistake people make most often is planting hellebores and then getting impatient when they don't bloom heavily in the first year or two. This is a slow-to-establish plant that rewards patience. Its best blooms come in year 3 and beyond, so don't judge it too quickly. Hellebores are hardy in zones 4 through 9. Quick pause here. If you're finding this useful, make sure you've dropped a comment describing your shade conditions. I want to be able to tell you specifically which of these 9 fits your yard best. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time so you don't miss the rest of this series. Okay, let's keep going. Plant number 6, Brunnera. If you want a shade plant that looks almost like it belongs in a high-end woodland garden design, Brunnera delivers that instantly. Its heart-shaped leaves are marked with striking silver veining, giving it a shimmering, almost frosted appearance even without flowers. And in spring, it sends up delicate sprays of tiny blue flowers that look remarkably similar to forget-me-nots. Brunnera does best in shade to partial shade, with consistently moist, rich soil, and it's genuinely deer-resistant, which is a real bonus if that's a problem in your area. Plant it in a spot protected from hot afternoon sun. Direct exposure will scorch that beautiful silver foliage fast. The mistake to watch for is planting it somewhere too dry. Brunnera's leaves will wilt and look defeated quickly in dry soil, though it usually bounces back once watered. Repeated stress like this will weaken the plant over time. Brunnera is hardy in zones 3 through 8. Plant number 7, ferns. And specifically, if you want a strong all-around choice, ostrich fern. Ferns bring something no flowering perennial really can: texture and movement. Their soft, arching fronds create that classic, lush woodland feeling, and they fill in shaded spaces with a kind of effortless, natural elegance that instantly makes a dim corner feel intentional rather than neglected. Ferns genuinely thrive in moist, rich shade, and they're one of the most reliable choices for spots that stay consistently damp, areas where many other perennials would struggle or rot. Plant them in soil amended with organic matter and keep the area consistently moist, especially while they're establishing. The mistake to avoid is planting ferns in a dry, exposed spot and expecting them to perform. They will survive, but they won't give you that full, lush look without adequate moisture. Give them the damp, shaded conditions they actually want, and they'll spread into an increasingly fuller patch year after year. Plant number 8, lamium. specifically the White Nancy variety. This is your ground cover pick on this list, and it does a job the others don't, filling in low, open space between taller shade perennials with silvery green foliage and small white or pink flowers in spring and again in late summer. It's the plant that stops a shade bed from looking like a collection of individual specimens and turns it into a cohesive, finished-looking design. Lamium prefers partial to full shade and well-drained soil, and it benefits from occasional watering and light feeding during the growing season. Plant it with a bit of room to spread. This is a plant that will fill in low gaps quickly once established. The mistake to watch for is planting it too sparsely and expecting instant coverage. Give it a season to spread naturally rather than overplanting densely from the start. It fills in faster than people expect. Lamium is hardy in zones 3 through 8. Plant number 9, and I saved this one for last because it might be the most overlooked plant on this entire list. Wild ginger, or Asarum canadense. This is a native ground cover with distinctive heart-shaped leaves that carpet the ground in a dense, glossy mat, and it hides small, unusual bell-shaped flowers right at soil level. More of a quiet surprise for anyone who gets down close enough to look than a showy bloom. Wild ginger is genuinely built for shade. It's a native woodland plant, which means deep shade under trees is exactly where it wants to be. Plant it in rich, organically amended soil and keep it consistently moist while it's establishing its root system. Beyond that, it asks for almost nothing, and it's excellent for supporting local biodiversity in your yard. Since it's a native plant, many beneficial insects rely on. The mistake to avoid is expecting fast coverage in the first year. Wild ginger spreads slowly at first before picking up momentum. So don't judge it too early. By year 3, you'll have a genuinely impressive, low-maintenance carpet of foliage. So here's how to actually put this into practice. Pick 2 or 3 of these based on how shady your space actually is and how moist the soil tends to stay. Plant them this season and give them time to settle in before judging the results. Shade gardens build slowly and quietly. Unlike a sunny border that often puts on a dramatic show in its first year, these plants are settling in underground and establishing themselves first, and the payoff compounds. That corner you once considered a dead zone, the one you avoided planting anything in because nothing seemed to work, can become one of the most textured, layered, genuinely beautiful parts of your yard. And once these are in the ground, you're not replanting that space year after year. You're just watching it get fuller and more established every single season. One more time before you go, drop a comment describing your shade conditions. I want to personally tell you which of these 9 perennials is the smartest pick for your specific spot, and I read every single comment, so you will get a reply. If this video helped you see your shady yard differently, subscribing genuinely helps a lot, since I'm putting out practical content exactly like this every week, and it means you'll never have to go searching for it. It'll just show up when you need it. Now get out there and give that shady corner the plants it's actually been waiting for, and I'll see you in the next one.